Yo everyone, it's Diktaturen with you today and we are in Brazil again. But this time with SF1L. I made a little peek there of my setup. If you want to steal it, go ahead, I don't mind. It's gonna be a really interesting session today because in SRL I really didn't have the pace, and later on I realized it was the camera settings that I didn't set up properly. So this time I was very cautious about that. And we're gonna jump into the last lap of Q3. If you look on my ERS, I'm not using any of it on this straight, as I wanna do 2 laps in a row. So if I don't burn all of it here and turn it off right here, it should go back to 100 after I'm done turning around here, and it does. So we maximize the value. I lost a little bit of time doing that, but I can do 2 laps. So that's crucial, as the later on you get into a session, the faster you're gonna be. But we're gonna follow this first lap now. We're doing a purple first sector and 1/10 up on our time, but we're really not finding the exit. We should go on that curb, but we are losing half a tenth from not doing so. So we're gonna see what we can do through turn 6 and 7, and we are now 1/10 up, 2/10 up, 1.5, around 2 again, down to 1.5. We are really traveling around there, so I'm very confident now that my time will be good for P1 and getting the pole. Neon, he's coming across the finish line now, and he gets a 1:06.59, which is an insane time around here. And looking at our time now, we are 2/10 up on our time. The previous time a 1:06.87, which means we are not gonna get pole around here. But we have a second lap, and we're gonna see how this goes, because we have 50% ERS, which should give us enough boost to go around another lap. And you can see I'm struggling a little bit on the exit, getting somewhat of a moment, and we are coming onto the DRS once again. We are only 200s down on our time, which we can improve around here, because we saw I didn't carry enough speed. But now I'm invalidating, so I don't improve on my time. But I get a front row, and this time in SF1L we are gonna have a sprint race, 5-lapper, that's gonna decide the qualifying positions and finalize the starting grid. And it's lights out and away we go. I get a very bad start compared to Neon. I'm gonna have Splashy and Essan around myself, and they're gonna fight around me, but I'm gonna try and squeeze through, and I managed to do so. Now Neon ahead, Splashy more than half a second behind, so I guess they had somewhat of a moment. I hope I wasn't involved in that. I'm gonna use some of our ERS because I want to get ahead of Neon here, because I have a better downforce than he has, since he went for more top speed. If I can get ahead of him, then I can go around the middle and last sector and hopefully gain enough of a gap so he won't be able to overtake. We're gonna see the pace difference now as we are coming into these corners. I should be almost up on his gearbox, but he's very quick in these initial laps. Splashy 8/10 behind, so we really managed to create a good gap behind to them. It's been me and Neon basically all the time when we've been doing time trials and stuff around here. We've been right on each other's tails, pretty much shedding the exact same times. But in the qualifying session, he almost every time he beat me by around 1/10 or half a tenth. But we're gonna come through the straight and we're gonna crash with Gaffeltruck, who was standing still on the starting grid. That's a look of disappointment. Due to a glitch and people being affected from it, they all decided let's do a retake of this 5-lapper. Gonna go into that later on, but right now we have 5 lights and away we go. We are gonna get a better start this time, but Neon is absolutely flying, and look behind this, Svas is looking around my outside. I'm gonna try and stay as tight as I can so he can't go ahead, and I managed to stay in P2, but now I have quite a gap to Neon, who does have a lower front wing setup, which means he's gonna be way quicker than I am in this section of the track. But coming into here, I should be able to gain it all back. As Splashy behind, 4/10, 5/10. He's gonna be challenging also. But me and Neon really want to be able to step ahead of these guys so we can fight for ourselves, because too many people involved is just gonna create a mess, as we are gonna wanna fight for the pole position, which is gonna be determined most of the race, I think, as the person who's gonna be able to get ahead in the beginning is the one who's gonna dictate what's gonna happen next. So we have half a second to Neon. We are pretty comfortable within his slipstream up in here, unless we make a mistake. But it looks like it's gonna be pretty safe, and it's a second to Splashy now. So we really just put some extra shoes on and ran faster here. No person on the starting grid now, which is a lovely sight to see. As we're gonna try and chase Neon. I'm gonna show the full sprint, so if you're not interested in this and want to go to the race, you should move forward a little bit. But now we're gonna try and make a move on Neon. We are side by side, coming into turn 4. What's gonna happen? I'm gonna let him go here, as I want to save a little bit of ERS, because I could have burned more, but I don't want to do so. So we're gonna see what happens. We are just behind of him, still a second back to Splashy. But this is the section where I should be faster than him, since I have so much more front wing. And we're gonna see, he is struggling a little bit. We're right up on his gearbox now. What's gonna happen? We almost make a moment there. And we're gonna come into the last sector, and we're gonna be right behind him. It looks like it's gonna be a move coming onto the main straight. Do I wanna go for it though? After I make this move, it's gonna be a DRS on the second part of the track. We're gonna see. I'm using the boost, but he's not using his boost, it looks like, because he should be much faster if he did. I think he wants me to go past so he can get the DRS. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna let go of the throttle. Gonna come here into the first couple of corners, DRS enabled. Am I gonna stay within? I'm a little bit too far back here. And I think Splashy behind as well got DRS on myself. Not pretty well, but we're gonna see if we can stick with Neon. Right now I just wanna make sure I can stay within his DRS, which shouldn't be a problem, but we'll see what happens. Gonna go back a little bit to the incident in the first sprint. Gaffeltruck was not to blame. His game crashed and his AI decided not to drive away, so and the AI didn't ghost and there was no yellow flag, so I'm not really sure how that's even possible to happen, but it's very unfortunate for myself. But luckily everyone in the Discord seemed to agree that we should do a restart, as I wasn't the only one affected from it. I think someone else also DNF'd, but it shouldn't happen. It's one thing when you make a mistake, but this was pretty hard to avoid. I wasn't expecting it at all. Looking now, we're gonna try and make an overtake on Neon. He's not gonna fight it. I'm guessing he wants to go on my DRS on the second straight, so we're gonna see if he can stick with it. He's only a couple of tenths behind. So we're gonna see, am I gonna put some boost on here? Yes, I am, as Neon is gonna fight for it. I'm gonna take the inside, going really defensive. He's gonna go around the outside. I'm gonna hold the inside line. Very good racing so far, no touching each other, and we're gonna still be side by side. Coming into this corner, I'm gonna decide to let him go here, as I don't wanna go around too wide there. I'm gonna try and sneak a move on the inside, but nothing is happening there. And we are settling back into P2. Now Splashy just behind us due to this fighting. We are very close to Neon, pretty much hunting him down. And he's got a 2-second penalty for corner cutting. And this pretty much seals the deal for me, as I don't think he's gonna fight us anymore. Because he's just gonna lose time doing that. So I'm pretty sure he wants to get tucked in within my DRS and try and escape with me. So he's letting me go, I'm going past him, and now it's gonna be a pretty smooth last lap of this sprint race. So we're gonna see, is gonna be close to challenge here. I'm getting very good traction throughout these couple of corners. I can also afford a track limit warning there. And I'm gonna use all of my ERS. He's not gonna have anything to fight with, but I'm guessing, as I said, he just wants to stick with me right now and maybe pull a gap to the drivers behind. If you look on the timing screen, Essan is 3 seconds behind for myself. So I'm guessing he's looking to get a P4 here. Getting a purple for a sector, so I'm gonna look to get the fastest lap of this race. And try and push now, and let's see if we can create somewhat of a gap back to Neon and see what our pace is like in somewhat of a late race setup, I guess, since we are pretty much low on fuel right now. Previous fastest lap is unknown. I didn't see who took it, but I have a 1:04.2. I'm 5 tenths up on my previous time. So I'm gonna try and get it here, but not take too many risks, as it could just be detrimental to my race. We're gonna see where we're gonna end up. We are sure to improve at least. We're gonna get a 1:07.6. pole position for the main race. Obviously very happy about that. We're gonna choose to start on the medium tires, and Neon is gonna do the soft tires, so he's really gonna be hungry to get ahead of us on this start. Splashy behind medium, Svas behind medium, S on medium. I'm hoping that Neon is gonna be a little bit stuck. Race is about to start. 4 lights, we have 5 lights, and away we go, and we are gonna get a little bit of a better start here. But looking behind, Neon is getting an incredible start. We're gonna have to leave some space for him. Coming around a couple of corners here, and we are still ahead, but Neon is just behind on fresh soft tires. This is gonna be very bad for our race. We wanna keep him behind for this lap, but I don't think there's anything I'm gonna be able to do next lap. We're just gonna have to realize that Neon is gonna be quicker than us this race. But right now, the most important thing to do is to be able to stick within his DRS. If I'm gonna be able to keep up to his pace once he gets ahead of me and be within the DRS for a couple of laps, it means that he's not gonna get the advantage that he would have wanted, as he is sure to be just wanting to get ahead of me and get out of DRS and just push on and get this 5-6 second gap that is so magical to get, because then he's just gonna have the advantage over me. With this strategy, I'm gonna be quicker later on, but we can see he is going for it. The gap is just shrinking, and remember, he is much quicker than me on the straight line. We're gonna go a little bit defensive. Not too defensive though, as we don't want to lose time. So, looking back, this is gonna be easy overtake for Neon. He is gonna go on the outside. I'm just gonna let him have the racing line, move back behind him. And now is the time for myself to make sure that I can make the most out of my setup, as this is the part of the track where I should be quicker. Neon is definitely gonna be quicker regardless, because the soft tires are so overpowered. But I am still very quick due to having high downforce. So we'll see if I can manage to stick with him. We're gonna have to keep track on the delta to both Neon and Svas, because Svas is where I'm gonna measure myself and see, am I quick? And Neon is gonna be the guy where I'm just gonna chase and see and stay within this 1 second. We are sure to be within 1 second here, but the DRS is not gonna be activated until this second sector coming onto the second sector, the second DRS straight. Making a very stupid choice, cutting that and getting a track limit warning, which isn't gonna be optimal for our race. Neon with the fastest lap of 1:09.2, and we are very far from that time. But coming onto here, we are within his DRS. So Svas is 1.3 seconds behind, which means it's gonna be me and Neon who's gonna pull through, unless we make some kind of error or mistake around there. And looking at the time now, I am pretty confident that he is gonna be able to just push through. I really want to get within the DRS on the main straight, but he is already 1 second ahead. It's gonna be very difficult if I manage to stay within there. Now Svas is 1.5 seconds down, so we are very quick. We're gonna see 9 tenths now, so we gain through those corners. The downforce really helps us. 8 tenths, 9 tenths. Where is this gonna be ending up? Neon is going very wide, he's losing time. And we're getting the perfect exit as he is struggling. He pushed really hard, but it backfired. So we are once again within the DRS, and we're gonna be sure to be within the DRS next time as well. This is looking very good for us. Looking back, we have Svas 1.9 seconds. We are gaining on him, and we are really sticking with Neon. So I can't really complain, and right now the longer I can stay within his DRS, the better it's gonna be. I am sure I'm gonna be dropped back in a couple of laps, or probably before, maybe even on this lap. But right now I have won everything, because his strategy is not as good as this was. If he would have gotten ahead of me, ahead of 1 second, he would have been probably 3 seconds ahead of right now. But he didn't, and yeah, I'm sure he used a lot of ERS as well. So he's not going to have too much to play with later on, as the ERS is pretty hard to get back on this track. And coming down to the main straight, we are 9 tenths back. We're struggling a little bit on the exit. Gonna have to push a little bit here to make sure I'm gonna be able to stay within. 9.6. Let's see. Once again within the DRS and saved for another lap. So since right now it's not going to be too much action to show, I want to talk a little bit about the setups. On this, like you realized, I'm using very high downforce. I'm basically doing my time trial setup at 10.8 in the front and rear wings. And we had a lot of discussions prior to this race about setups, and most people agreed on that my setup wasn't very optimized for the race, as I would just be overtaken all the time. And I thought they was right, and I was a little bit worried about that coming into this race, but I felt most comfortable with the 10.8. I tried a couple of laps. You can see I get another warning. I have 2 warnings now, so I'm gonna have to be very careful driving. No, but every time when I tried, like a 8.6 or a 9.7, I just felt like I was so much slower around the middle section. I felt like the car was a little bit snappier. It wasn't as planted as I wanted it to be. So really, it was all about being comfortable. And when you drive around here, we can see now I'm finally out of his DRS. But it was about time as well. But it's basically all the time about doing what you're most comfortable with, because that's gonna bring consistency, and consistency in F1 is king. If you don't spin, if you don't do this or that, you're gonna have better results. And you can look on that on my SRL videos. Every time I did some silly mistake, it costed me everything basically. We are on lap 12, and I have catched up to Neon a little bit as he drifted away when I got out of his DRS. He's pitting now for the medium tires. He's gonna struggle later on being on that set. So we're gonna see if he's gonna go for the 2-stopper, but that means right now I have clear air and I can just push as much as I want. And it stayed a status quo until lap 21, as I have 69% on my front right, which is far from optimal. And I was debating a little bit within myself now, do I pit or do I go for another lap? I want to have the freshest soft tires as I can later on, but I'm gonna decide to pit because I am scared of Neon. I really don't want him to chase me down, but I'm a little bit confused as well. Looking back, Svas is on soft tires now. He started on mediums and he is ahead of Neon. So I'm afraid something happened further back, or maybe if he went on another stop that I didn't see. But it's going to be interesting to see where we're going to have him once we come out, because we're surely going to be behind Svas after this pit stop. 71% now, so I can't really afford to stay out much longer. I'm sure as well Splashy and S-Sun and Paradise will pit. Coming into the pits, we get a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. I'm very annoyed about that, as I felt I braked just in time. Even more than just in time. So very unfortunate. But it's for sure gonna shape things up a little bit in this race. We're gonna see how we're gonna do with it. Coming out of very nice soft tires, the grip immediately surprises me as I can just go full throttle. Gonna go around this little bit of an awkward pit exit. And we see we have Neon behind us. Which means all I have to do now is make sure I get ahead of Svas and I have a net P1 once again. And you can see Svas is in the middle of some traffic, which are Paradise and the McLaren car, one McLaren car I think, as Cobran ahead of us is a lapped car, so he's gonna have to give way to me. And it looks like Paradise and Svas are fighting a lot there to try and get some positions. For some reason, I don't know why they're fighting, because Svas must have a lot fresher tires right now. But remember, I'm on my outlap basically, and I just made it to Svas. I think it was a 2-second gap almost, and we are already here. I'm gonna be a little bit cautious. He's going very defensive, so I'm gonna wait with the move on the second DRS straight. I'm just gonna play it safe, right up on his gearbox. It's gonna be a very easy move coming through here. I don't think he's gonna defend it. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna take DRS on, and our speed is just on a different level. And I'm pretty sure Svas is running the 8.6 front and rear, which you can see there, just with the DRS, I can have much higher downforce and still just sweep past him like nothing. So I really think I nailed the setup on this track. We're gonna see right now, because we have the 5-second gap to Svas, I really need to push I really need to make sure I get those 5 seconds on him as quick as I can. It's 1.5 seconds now, so he's not gonna get DRS on me, which I'm very thankful for, because that would have ruined things a little bit for me, the same it would have for Neo 1 in the beginning. We're 2 seconds ahead now. It's looking very comfortable, doesn't it? I might get the fastest lap of the race as well now. 1:08.1. Very solid lap. I don't think that's gonna hold, because if you paid attention, you see that Neo 1 and Svas are on soft tires, and Svas is pitting, so he's going for the 2-stopper. And if you remember, what tire did Neo 1 start on? He started on soft tires, so he is also going for the 2-stopper. I'm not sure if he went on the mediums for a short while and went back to softs right here, or if he is gonna go on the soft and then for the mediums. Only time will tell. But I'm already 5 seconds ahead of Neo 1, and right now a lot of stuff is gonna have to happen in order for me to lose this race. It's possible with a safety car. I'm gonna get pretty much screwed by that. I will be able to pit and get rid of the 5-second penalty by just standing in a box and timing it out, but really don't want that to happen. And as you can see, lap 35, we are 18 seconds ahead of Splashy in P2. I wanted to share more of my laps around here, as I was extremely consistent and had very good lap times. But I just felt like watching me driving lap to lap around here without fighting anyone would have been a little bit boring. So if anyone wants to see me driving around here, I'm more than happy to upload it. But for the sake of this video, and for it to not be a bore fest, I chose to cut, and now we are on the last lap. Gonna try and drive as safe as I can while I still drive as consistently as I have. But even if we make a mistake now, unless we DNF, we can afford a spin if we want to. And it looks like we're not gonna spin, we're not gonna get the fastest lap, but we are gonna end up winning Brazil SF1L P1.
Fan vad skönt.
Very good race for myself. I'm very pleased to have another win in the bag, and this was my most solid race so far. Strategy point on. I had luck with the safety cars, and I'm a little bit sad that Neo 1 didn't get the race he wanted to, because I'm sure our race would have been very fun to watch. But nonetheless, P1 and the end. Thank you all for watching. Have a very nice day, take care, and goodbye.